Hi, welcome to the Tokyo Life. I'm Mac from Maction Planet. Welcome to a day at the sumo. Here's the time schedule for today. So bouts start at 8:50 and then the Juryo at 2:20 and then the Maku no Uchi, the top dogs, at 3:45. Here are some wrestlers arriving for the early divisions. It's 7 AM, the gates have opened and the early bird sumos are on their way in. These flags are called nobori. They're 5.4 meters high, about 90 centimeters wide, and they have either individual sumo athletes' names on, or the names of a stable, or even the names of referees, and at the bottom they have their sponsors. I've just skipped around to show you all how the line all the way back to here. They are handing out the numbers for today. So I got into line at 6:30 AM. So let's see what number I end up with. Arigatou gozaimasu. Number 81. I have my money and my number card ready. Through the window. Arigatou gozaimasu. Today's tickets, row 14 on the second floor. And you also get this arena map, and it has a lot of handy info about maximizing your time in the Kokugikan. The drums in the distance from the top of the tower, marking the start of sumo. So I've just handed in my ticket, which means we can enter the Kokugikan, the spiritual home of Japanese sumo. This is the fourth version. It was built in 1985. Holds 11,098 people. So in we go through the doors, and I like coming in at this time because you really get to appreciate, with nobody around, the architecture of this space. Second floor seating right at the back, and this is the side that ideally you want to be in, because over there is the Nishi, the west, and over here is the Higashi, the east, and down there is where the magic happens. So ideally you want to be square on. I think I spot a vacant seat over here. Fantastic. And that is going to be my view for the January 2020 Sumo Tournament. Down there is the royal box. Around the ring hang these 32 sumo portraits, and they are portraits of the 32 winners of the last 32 tournaments. Here is the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Hakuhosho. Down there is the dohyo, which is the ring, 4.55 meters in diameter. And above is something that looks, of course, like a shrine roof. So there it is, below me, the sumo ring. Bouts are going to start at 8:50, which is in about 15 minutes time. Very much looking forward to it. Final preparations taking place to prepare the ring. So this is it, the Jono Kuchi is about to start, the 6th division of sumo. As you may know, sumo has its origins really in the Shinto religion, so you do see a lot of Shinto imagery, iconography, and also tradition still buried within the sports. So this is it, the first bout of the day. It's about to begin. And that was a victory for the wrestler from the west side, early to late afternoon. In the Jodokuchi division, the 6th division, there are about 80 wrestlers, and like any other division, in order to progress higher and higher up the ranks, you have to win more fights than you lose. One of the differences between the top 2 divisions and the bottom 4 is that you have to fight every day in the top 2 divisions, but the bottom 4 divisions, they fight 7 of the 15 days of each of the 6 major tournaments. Another interesting fact about fighting in the lower 4 divisions is that you will only wrestle somebody who has the same record as you. So after 5, if you've won 3 and lost 2, you're going to face off against somebody who's also won 3 and lost 2 matches. As is very clear to see from this matchup, there are no weight classes in sumo. Win or lose, the fighters are expected to show no emotion, whatever the result. The roof under which these guys are fighting is called the Suriana. It weighs just over 6 tons and is suspended by cables that can actually hold up to 30 tons. Until the September 1952 tournament, there were actually columns, but of course these obstructed people's views, so sense prevailed and they decided to suspend this roof from the roof. It's about 10:15, time to do a little walk around the stadium, and this is a stock check for the crew setting up the stall for Hyonoyama merchandise. Now those who follow me closely know I've met Hyonoyama several times. He's a legend as far as I'm concerned, and this stuff is just too adorable not to pick up. On site of the Kokugikan, there is actually a museum which has different rotating exhibits about the history of sumo. The current exhibition at the Sumo Museum is of the Kesho Mawashi, the ceremonial aprons which the Yokozuna wear. So it's got a display of those, and there's also a permanent display of the pictures of the 72 Yokozuna that we've had so far, dating back all the way to the Edo period to the present day. There are a lot of fun things that you can get involved in at the sumo, especially if you do turn up early, and one of them is that you can get your picture taken in one of 11 amusing frames. Another thing you can do in this first floor area is collect some stamps. Here's one I made earlier featuring Akawashi and Hyonoyama. Outside the arena there's plenty of opportunity to have fun as well, like by posing with some of our top champions. Or you can convince your friends that you're actually carried by a sumo wrestler. These wrestlers have already competed, and so they're done for the day. Hopefully they get a chance to rest and relax in case they are fighting tomorrow. And then you have other wrestlers coming in who are about to compete. From 2:30 they actually start renting radios so that you can listen to both Japanese and English commentary. The Japanese commentary starts around 3:15 and the English commentary around 4:15. You can get these radios from the information center, which is by the front entrance. We don't know the exact origins of sumo, but we do know that it began as some kind of competition of strength. This is a bout here between Nomi no Sukune and Teimano Kehaya. Sukune won the bout and is worshipped as the god of sumo. And we know all about this from the Nihon Shokai, which was written in 720. Here's a scene from the Heian era. This is when Kyoto became the capital, 794 to 1192 AD. And sumo matches were held annually. This continued for about 4 centuries, and they were held as ritual ceremonies where people prayed for a good harvest. This scene here depicts a sumo bout organized by Oda Nobunaga, who was the first of Japan's 3 great unifiers in the late half of the 1500s. So by this point, sumo was approaching what we know of as modern sumo. The sumo ring came into being in the second half of the 1600s, and modern day sumo wrestlers kind of emerged in the middle of the 1700s. On the first floor, you also have this assemblage of trophies. So a big part of sumo, just like any sport, is sponsorship, and there's a lot of ways that those sponsors deliver tickets to their guests. And a lot of those tickets, especially if you're sitting down close to the ring, come with a lot of different packs like this. They'll be full of a bento and some drinks and a lot of souvenirs for you to take home. One of my favorite restaurants at Kokugikan is Raiden. They have a ton of osasume specials and mebutsu, local foods, including this Ryōgoku Kokugikan special yakitori chicken rice bowl. Here's another one of the second floor eateries, specializing in sushi, tempura and bento boxes. This is a souvenir shop here, selling some drinks and other goods, including merchandise from my favorite here, Hyonoyama and Akawashi.
Oh, see you!
You too can be in the lineup with this nice cardboard Kesho Mawashi featuring the mon, the seal, the emblem, the coat of arms of the Japan Sumo Association. And then now this is the west side. We've got some gachapon here, sumo related gachapon. Let's see, Hyonoyama Nakawashi related goods. So as the day goes on, the fighting continues through the divisions. The 5th division is called the Jonidan, the 4th division is called the Sandanme, and then the 3rd division is the Maction. And those guys are really under a lot of pressure, because if they're successful, then they get promoted into the Sekitori, into the Juryo. And then, of course, if you get promoted beyond that into the Makunuchi, then that's when you get the opportunity to one day win 2 tournaments in a row and become the Yokozuna. There's the professional TV cameras for NHK. The ring attendants doing a fantastic job. So before the start of the bout, the names of both wrestlers are sung out. That was the Yobidashi just announcing the wrestlers' names. So the guys come on into the dohyo, then they line up in the corner with their backs to the center and perform these rituals. And raising their arm up to demonstrate that they have no weapons. Those 2 lines are called the Shikiri Sen, and the wrestlers have just assumed the Shikiri, and the bout is off. and over. So how do you win a sumo wrestling bout? Well, you either shove your opponent out of the ring or you wrestle him to the ground so that a part of his body, apart from his feet, touch it before yours do. Both players need to have their fists on the ground for the match to commence. Most bouts are actually over very quickly, but some last some time. It's 1:20 now, and the arena really is starting to fill up. I've come to almost all the tournaments that have taken place in Tokyo since I moved here in the middle of 2006, and I gotta say, it really does never get old. The chankonabe is a traditional sumo food, and each tournament, a different heya, a different sumo stable, actually makes the recipe for the chankonabe. The January 2020 Tokyo tournament's variety chanko comes courtesy of Hakakubeya, which is a Tokyo-based stable. And today is the 21st of January 2020, which makes it day 10 of the tournament, which means that we have the special kare chanko. You can smell the curry as soon as you come into the place. Wow, I'm looking forward to this one. This is going to be very different to anything I've tried before. Hey, arigatou gozaimasu. And you get given the chopsticks, some change, and we're good to go. Hey, arigatou gozaimasu. This looks absolutely delicious. So what is chankonabe? Well, it's a type of nabemono, a one-pot dish. It's basically a stew. You have a broth, typically some sake or mirin is added for flavoring, and then a mixture of meat and vegetables all goes in to make this absolutely delicious dish. Interestingly, while a tournament is on, the chanko that's made is made with chicken and not with other meats, because, in order to win a match, you need to stay on your 2 feet like the chicken. and you definitely don't want to be down on all fours. There are often meet and greets with former wrestlers, which attract a huge crowd. You can also enjoy the meet and greet with the living legend Yonoyama. It's 2:20, so now the excitement starts. The jury are about to have their opening ceremony.
鹿児島県出身、九重部屋、美らの海、東京都出身、木瀬部屋、最後は千代翔馬、モンゴル出身、九重部屋。続いて先駆け。モンゴル出身、芝田山部屋、豊昇龍、大阪府出身、追手風部屋、最後は琴ノ若、千葉県出身、佐渡ヶ嶽部屋。
Some interesting lineups in today's Juryo matches. Ryōgoku versus Takagenji is going to get a lot of attention, as is Ichinogyo versus Mitoryu. As the matches increase in importance, then the pre-bout posturing kind of increases as well. Fantastic bout. Since 1958, there have been 6 tournaments a year, 3 in Tokyo, 1 in Fukuoka, 1 in Osaka, and 1 in Nagoya. The 3 Tokyo tournaments take place in January, May, and September. The wrestlers are split into 2 groups, the East and the West. The East being a little bit more prestigious, but essentially these splits have no meaning. They just indicate the direction from which the wrestlers are going to come out in order to fight. I'm in line to get a Hyo-chan-yaki, so a kind of like a taiyaki, a pancake batter filled with chocolate or custard cream or red bean paste in the shape of the legendary Yonoyama. Look at my Hyo-chan-yaki, the face of victory. This is the final match of the Juryo session, Dayamami versus Kyoshoma. There are no Yokozuna competing in the Makuuchi in this tournament. I'm very much looking forward to Takakesho versus Enho. That's going to be an amazing match. So now it's the opening ceremony of the Makuuchi session. So that's the west side. Now the east side. Big support there for Hokuto Fuji. Remember, he was a massive fan of the Kare Janko Nabe. Now the upcoming matches are being read out. The arena has really filled up over the course of the day, and now this is what everybody's been waiting for, the start of the Makuuchi. The sponsors banners walking around the ring right now. This is Azuma Ryu versus Yutakayama, and you can see either side of the names there is the form guide. So Yutakayama has been pretty on form this tournament.
Yutakayama!
Some salt throwing there. Big support for Yutakayama.
Yutakayama!
Yutakayama finishing the job quickly there. That taken him to 8 wins and 2 defeats in the first 10 days of the tournament. Aoyama there on the left, and Terutsuyoshi with the big applause after throwing the salt into the ring in spectacular fashion.
Terutsuyoshi, fight!
Listen to that applause. Absolutely fantastic bout there. Seems like I'm not the only one who's been looking forward to this. Takakesho on the east side, that's on the left of the picture, and Enho on the right, on the west side. A lot of sponsors down there, including Yakult, who obviously own my baseball team, the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. Enho! Now the sponsors for Takakesho. Enho just throwing some purifying salt into the ring. Enho's popularity, he's got a great personality, great sportsmanship, but it's also clearly down to his size as well. Weighing in is less than 100 kilograms. Compared to most sumo wrestlers who are minimum 150. Enho responsible for that false start there. The strength and the power of Takakesho, too much for Enho today. So this is it, the final bout of the day, Takara Fuji versus Goedo. Takara Fuji victorious, and with that, our day at the sumo comes to an end. Every day at the sumo concludes with the bow twirling ceremony. So of course in the past the bow would have been awarded as a prize for the victor of the tournament. Is the true end of the day at the sumo. So that concludes our coverage of what it's like to come to a day at the sumo at Ryōgoku Kokugikan. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned to the TokyoLife.jp for more updates, more support, and just more fun about what it's like to live in the world's greatest metropolis, Tokyo. And until next time, we continue.